some open source tools, which actually turns out it's not such a big of a deal. My name is Samrickis. I'm from Rocket Software, from lab that Rocket Software has in Vilnius, Lithuania. I hope that you did your donation, did the part for a very honorable cause. Today's agenda, as we are in the final stretch in today's conference, really basically one of the last sessions, try to be more entertaining as I can. So I'll explain why I'm doing this. What is Ansible, but as looking into ground, I see that most of you are pretty familiar with that. So just I'll cover the basics. So lessons learned. Here it just you can rephrase it, not lessons learned, but the rookie mistakes maybe. As this is before starting that Ansible automation journey for developing end-to-end automation, I didn't have the clue what Ansible is, how to use it, and so on. So how to configure it to be able to run it on the mainframe. And I got to show what kind of the errors and obstacles I did encounter along the way. And I did resolve it. It worked for me. Maybe it's gonna work for you. Let us hopefully. I will see. So I also talk about Ansible UIs, what kind of the Ansible UIs you can have and you can install. And in the demos, I'm gonna show one of the UIs, the open source UI, just to get used, download it from the web, install it, and configure it to be my self-service portal. So a few demos about that. One demo is very short one, just showcasing, well, maybe you don't want to UI have, you can do all the other type of integration between Ansible, in my case, is a Slack. Just building for a very simple Slack application. Key takeaways and questions, answers in the end. So, why I'm doing this? So, manual tasks. So, let's get real. No one wants to be a human robot and do some boring, repetitive tasks. Also, would like to save that time to taking a coffee and talking with the colleagues. Old school mainframes versus modern tech. Besides working in the Rocket, although I'm also giving the lectures in university, local university, where they do teach students subject of mainframe technologies. So that subject is run in university twice a year. Every year I have a different batch of students from they are usually their first year or second year in university. And I see that for them, it's mainframe, it's scary stuff. They don't see that 30-70 later being very appealing one. And the things that you do in old-fashioned way mainframe, for them it's too complicated sometimes to remember and too complicated sometimes to understand why they're doing that. But they easily grasp modern tech. The new stuff that is you can use on the mainframe just because they can relate their experience that they had on other subjects, or they work on their own projects on distributed environments, and they easily can adapt to working on the mainframe. So for them, it's very beneficial to see how mainframe is working and how you can do some same stuff as a distributed side on the mainframe. There are some nuances definitely, but generally it's possible. On serious note, so I'm from Rocket Software, and Rocket Software I'm working for a month for kicks development, and as usually, as any other team that develops Megamon from our lab, we need some kind of environment to test our new features, the functionalities. We need to create some specific experience with bunch of applications, with different type of configuration. So that's usual and daily activity that we need to do. Also, they need to QA should do the same, and so on and so forth, in order to properly develop and test our software. And sometimes I need just an environment which I can just start up, create from the scratch, change something that I need, test, do a stress testing, whatever, and then just delete it and forget about it, forget that it even existed. So Ansible, it definitely gives that possibility to start up and create infrastructure on demand, and definitely it saves a lot of time in doing so. And open source tools. And I, as being in rocket software and the lecturer and going and speaking in the conferences, and see that we are not quite there in the open source wise in the mainframe. We still definitely could more embrace that and more use that in the mainframe because it's definitely beneficial. Definitely could speed up significantly our development on the mainframe. Although so companies are a bit cautious when they hear the word open source, but I'm trying to be like an advocate as much as possible, academical perspective, or here in conferences, let's say, let's do some more open source stuff because it's fun, it's easy, and the persons with zero experience on the mainframe in very short time could be very efficient on the platform and provide for the company on value-added activities. Yeah, and the final one, as I said, the curiosity, Ansible, I did build that presentation because I just was curious what could Ansible do for me on the mainframe. I heard a lot of great stuff that it could be, that is doing great stuff and helps automate activities on the distributed side. And I saw that this is the way to do my own automation on mainframe. And yeah, I think that was a blast. And in the end, the beginning was a bit rough. Why? I will mention that in the rookie mistakes or lessons learned. So shortly, in the very brief that I want to touch about, so what is Ansible? I'm sure they're very familiar. So it's an automation tool, automation platform, is totally open source. And it's used for lots of stuff, for configuration management, application deployment, and so on. So it has agent architecture, so it operates without a need for the agent on the remote system, using SSH for communications. Communications is just simplify setup and reduce operations overhead. And it uses a human-readable YAML type of the coding synthesis, YAML files. So key terms, there definitely could be this list could be expanded a little, but just briefly touching on that, which you have a control node. This is a machine where your Ansible resides and where its Ansible commands are being executed. You have the manage node, there are the servers or devices that you want to configure and manage. So this is, let's say, your mainframe endpoints. There's a playbook, a file containing a series of tasks to be executed on the target machines. Inventory, so list of nodes of your target mainframes. You have the modules, the units of work that Ansible executes, like operator commands, oscilloscopy commands, submitting the job. So task, template, which is used for dynamically generate content when you run a playbook. And collection is a standardized way to bundle and distribute Ansible content. So very brief. Certified collections, you can find it on the web. Ansible Zero Score collection for kicks, for MS, for other infrastructure parts. I primarily use the Score collection for my automation. I didn't try yet to use purely the kicks, but this is something that I plan to do in the future. And use case is also brief. I think that Ansible is good for provisioning and maintenance, for gathering the information from the mainframe. We also can automate security automation, let's say updating your certificates and so on. And if you've been yesterday on one of my colleagues within presentation, he showed a great example how we can use the configuration manager and execute it through our Ansible playbook. So very handy feature for managing your configuration on the mainframe. So lessons learned. So I'm not an Ansible expert, I'm not pretending to be an Ansible expert, and this session is more about how good is open source is, how speed up development, but also sharing my story, how I started, and what kind of troubles I run into, what kind of lessons I learned. So, lessons learned, tip number one. Simple one, definitely when you start to develop the playbooks, I've used the VS Code, so use the plugins that are available to do a syntax highlighting and code snippets and so on. So very handy and useful stuff, just blunt and simple. Lesson learned, tip number two. So as the user, how you start doing the Ansible automation. So you probably go to Google, you find how to do Ansible on the mainframe, you find some repositories from Git which are IBMs. So you just download template, you set up accordingly how it's in the Git repository, or just you clone the Git repository to your libraries, and and you try to run it. And when you try to run it, I immediately got an error that my module of libpython 3.9 is not found. I was thinking, why is 3.9? My paths everywhere show that 3.11. What the hell is going on? So it took some time me to understand, and Google searches. So I've roughly spent around 2 hours on that, and I found out somewhere in the Git tickets or Ansible log collection that is probably your version of Z Open Automation Utilities was statically built with a different version of Python. So workaround, it was pretty simple, just to comment out Python path specification in your environments. Okay, nice and easy, spend 2 hours. Then, at some point, you're doing some other activities, you're happy, you pass the one obstacle, you're coding, you're executing the playbooks, and you then hit another one. Non-UTF code starting on the line, whatever, and code is not declared. What the hell is that? Again, you're trying to search for the explanations on the web, looking for the forums, maybe open Git tickets, and also it's roughly 2.5 hours spent. And so explanation was that this looks like an odd pipe behaving on ZOS. So the solution is specified by pipe true in your Ansible configuration, and environmental variable set Python encoding. Okay, that's nice. 2.5 hours spent, but not a big deal. Another lesson learned while I was doing my automation, I noticed that, as mentioned, there's a ginger templates, and this is definitely you got to use because you want to mask some before submitting your JSLs. You want to mask it accordingly to have a configuration. You need to adjust it according to your execution environment, and so on and so forth. So ginger template is a great thing and was included some times ago into the Scopy module. But what I have found out, maybe that was my rookie mistakes. For me, it worked fine when I have a just simple template which says that, oh, this is, let's say, USS directory path. Worked perfectly fine. but I usually don't need such a simple templating. I need to say to have maybe I have the user providing me some variable. I need to strip it down to the to, let's say, specifically if the user says that my Kix region name is that one. So by our environment standards, some of the letters will identify this as the Kix version that I want, and then the other stuff or environment on which I want that region to be created and so on. And if user is not providing such information, I just want to cascade to the default values, and also I want to handle if the user provides the input in lowercase or uppercase, I want to handle it and specifically produce that lowercase output in the end. But that actually didn't work at all. And the bad thing was that I even didn't get any errors in Ansible playbook execution. Just you get the file, which is not masked at all. You just see the same masks in the file. So I spent 30 minutes on that because I was a bit frustrated before. So I said that, okay, I won't use Ansible core collection templating. I just will cascade down to the Ansible built-in templating. And we'll do everything on the master node, not on the manage node. So, and that was easy. Yeah, another stuff that I encountered as well. I was pretty happy that automation did work for me finally. I did create my Kix region with all required configuration, installed application, was everything working fine, perfectly. Then I decided to run it on another system, and I failed, surprisingly. And I was starting to wonder why. It kind of should probably look the same. We'll try to look deeper. The ZS version was a bit different. Then I did check that maybe my paths that are a bit incorrect on other sysplex in the USS directory.profile file. So I did resolve that, and also if you had such an error, you definitely need to look into compatibility matrix. It's a mess. That I have not other. I do not know how else to express my feelings about it. It's just a mess. I don't think that is right. Should work that way, but you need to take into account what kind of version of ZS you have. I have the version in Python have, Ansible core collection. So anyway, so if you get some kind of such an error, you probably should go and check your path specification and then check the compatibility matrix, and maybe this is where your error is. Okay, tip number 6. It relates to tip number 5. Because of that, you definitely sometimes you want to upgrade your Ansible collections. And in such case, when you do upgrade, don't forget to read the release notes. Maybe there's a broken changes. And for instance, the thing that did annoy me, that Ansible ZS core collection just decided to impose a requirement that all the input parameters should be in lowercase. It used to be uppercase, now the lowercase. My question is, who cares? Why you cannot just, user provides you upper lowercase, if you need in the lowercase, just do a dot lower in the all the module logic, and that's all. And also another thing that I heard on other sessions, there was a session this week on Kickstrack, Ansible on ZS 101. So I have asked this question, and it seems that it's different teams working on those collections, and they're not really in sync, apparently, unfortunately. So if you use Ansible for Kix collection, there is no such restriction, and everything will be uppercase. But you definitely, when you have a complicated playbook, you will use modules from core collection, you will use from Kix collection, and again, I don't know how to express myself, and I mean, it's massive complicated, but this is only telling my story and my frustration, but you should also take into account that. Also, when you get an errors, as an open source tool and libraries, sometimes if you want to test, really want keen to do testing and creation, your automation, and due to some bugs that you encountered, I'm not saying that this is the Ansible, all the modules, the libraries are bad. No, they're great, definitely. It's very simplified automation on the mainframe. It's not the state of the art yet, but it's definitely with every new release, it's getting better and better and better. But for now, it's the way it is, but it's definitely been in rapid development as well. But sometimes what I notice, and this is what my colleague last week discovered, with, for instance, with the ZSMS raw module, that if you provide the sysinput, sysim specification to that module, is by default will add two blanks up front. And that will cause maybe some programs to fail because some programs expect that the input should start from the first column. And also there's a limit for some reason that system it shouldn't be over 8 characters. Well, not always you want that limit to be hard that imposed. You need to get longer. Inputs be longer input to be possible to provide to the program, but anyhow, it's open source. You can go to the library if you're good with Python. You could simply change it, correct it, and everything will go fine. Not that easy task. Well, not that complicated task, definitely. A couple of minutes. So lessons learned and tip 8. Me and some other colleagues found that some tasks that I do run and my colleagues run on with Ansible, they're performing good, but maybe the performance is not that great. Not the file copying is not happening that fast as you would like to. Some other stuff. So sometimes I did prefer to just use for some file copying and so on, plain USS commands that work way faster than using one of the core collection modules. Yeah, so this is by building automation in 3 days. So one day it's like when you need to that, you need to go through some nuances of the setup and configuration. But in the end, it works perfectly fine, and that's why first day maybe you could spend on figuring out setup and other stuff. Another day you'll spend out in properly testing your automation, and the third day it will take you to do a UI. So I did research and find out what kind of UIs are available. There's an Ansible Tower, so it's paid version, it's Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform, very good one. So there's an open source albeit upstream project, which is almost the same functionality, but free of source, but has only community support. Others as well. I use the semaphore just purely because it's very lightweight and it's easy to set up and run as a container. So, my demo setup is look like that. Red Hat, Linux, Ansible version, core collection, and the +1 is for the second video, just showing case that you can not only integrate it in the UI, but you can, let's say, you don't want the UI part, you just go to the Slack communication channel. That easily could be done. So, I will start the video. Just here is a plain and simple command, execute my playbook. I provide the Ansible user, region, name, export. You can do it in SSH. You can set up SSH without need of providing user ID and the password. I just, because I did it in like 2 days, so just, okay, I won't take care about it later. For the sake of presentation, just I will show you this is way you can do it. But easily you can set up SSH. And it will go through all configuration of the Kix region versioning, and also because I'm working on a Megaman development, I need that Kix region to be provisioned by my Megaman agent. And besides that, Megaman has data streaming to historical data streaming to such environments like you can stream data to Grafana, you can stream it to Splunk, so it's called a Megamon data provider. So I want the Kix region and agent to be configured properly, so when I start my regions and start the activity on my region, all the historical collection will go from to OTP, and I can see it in my Elastic dashboard. So I probably can fast forward it. Sounds like push it all the time. Yeah, so it took me to configure everything around 3 minutes. Okay, let's do that. Let's start from the beginning. Okay. So here I just double check whether my Kix region is up and running. So there it takes 3.5 minutes. It's connected, it's fine, it's working fine. I see that even the Spring Boot applications are loaded in my Kix region. So it's configured the way it's supposed to be. Just double checking, can I connect to the web interface? This is default for Liberty server. So gonna check, can I call that Spring Boot applications? Checking that one as well. They got the response for the Spring Boot, so everything fine. We'll simply log in to the Kix region. Also, it works fine with the security enabled. And also gonna check whether that sample ABM application works or not. So, okay, this is, I'm fine with that, it's working. So now, besides that, I did configure my ODP environment. I want it to be up and running, so I just double check whether the Splunk instance is there, and I'm able to send my data from historical performance data from my Kix region to using ODP to the Elastic. So yeah, Elastic is started together with that Ansible automation. Everything works fine. Then I will see all the performance metric of that region in that tool. So now, when you've done that, the next step would be doing UI stuff. Here I just went to Semaphore webpage. They're providing a sample Docker compose file, which is you can copy over to your system, amend it as you wish, based on your needs. Sorry, there's one command that you need to copy it over and in order to generate the SSH key for that container. Okay, so just simply showing that it works, and though I'm going to go Docker compose file that I just copied from the web. It has two things, so it's Semaphore UI requires the MySQL or PostgreSQL to be installed together to store its whole configuration, and it also requires the Semaphore UI to be started as well. Some other stuff that you need to change, maybe changing the port, also changing the access encryption key. And I'm gonna change the admin name for that UI in order to be working. And yeah, this is it. Also, that UI could be, you can have security enabled, so on that authentication, you could integrate it with Microsoft Teams, you can integrate it with Slack, you can integrate it with Messenger, and other applications. So this is the way, this is kind of lightweight and kind of useful UI that you can use totally for free. And it's running in the container. So I did generate here the access key that was required according to that documentation. Then I will run Docker compose command, also find that what was found in the documentation. And it's a Docker compose app. It will download everything that it needed. So it did chop it a video a bit to fit in the time frame. So in the end, when the Docker compose command is completed, it downloads all the Docker images required to your system, so you can connect to the Semaphore UI. You connect to Semaphore UI using that GSE user ID and logging in. And this is the place where I'm setting the project name, so given a GSE demo, I'm creating one. No question how to distinguish good developer from the bad developer. So good developer always develop in a dark mode. So the most crucial button is over here. Enable the dark mode. Go to the dark side. And it's really 10 times better. So the step that you need to follow is just set up your UI that you'll be using for the self-service. So here I just will start from repositories. So you need to provide a repository where your playbooks are stored. It could be just simple file on the local machine. It could be the link to the HTTP server, or definitely for that reason, for source control, you definitely would use Git. So I'm just specifying that will be my Git repository from where I will, that UI will take all the playbooks. You need to specify your Git. You need to specify a branch, access key if you need one as well. Here, just for simpler, faster configuration, I did it very simple way. So generating then a key name, and I will give it just simply username and the password that which could access that repository and so on. Yeah, just provide that one, speed up. So then you need to configure the environment. So all the environment variables that are in Ansible playbook, you just copy over here. All that your Python paths and other stuff that is usually need to be provided. Yeah, so that your path to the open automation utilities, Python path, lib path, Python coding, and so on and so forth. It's the same way as you run Ansible playbook from just simple command line. Just fast forward. So then we need to set up inventory for that. So inventory just list of your all the endpoints that you want to manage. It's just done in the UI way, not in the file on your file system. As well, you need to provide the name, provide the credentials if you need it. So there's examples how you will do that. So define the Ansible host and so on. Just looking at the time. And then you need to create a template that will be available for the user to execute when he needs that. So you provide the name, brief description, what this template is used for. It's create a Kix region on the target, the name of playbook that will be executed, GSC playbook that will be taken for the inventory, for my Git inventory, what kind of environmental variables I will use, and optional variables that the user should provide in the UI. So fast forward, so give it the Kix region name, need to be provided by the user, brief description of the variable, type of it, and whatever it's optional or required to be provided by the user. Okay, fast forward. Also, you can also sometimes configure the REST connect in order to work with the Kix region. Sometimes I do need, sometimes I don't, so let's leave that variable as optional. You can schedule this template to run on the repeating on the scheduled manner using the cron and other additional parameters that you could provide to the Ansible playbook. Fast forward. Okay, so then you can edit it again and so on. Addition. So now, when you create the template, you can just hit run and execute it. So here, providing Kix region name, Kix D61GG, ZOS Connect name is optional, port name is required as I specified in the configuration. If I will omit it, the UI will give me an error that is variable is required, so pretty straight and simple. Okay, so when I'm done with that, I'll provide all the infos that I need. I hit run. UI starts the playbook, it connects to repository, it pulls that file from the repository, and it executes everything the same way as you saw in the command line interface. And it will take some time. Just if we go to the repository, you see that it's the same playbook that's being executed, and it works fine. So now just to double check whatever that my new Kix region is up and running. I have access to the TCP/IP to that region, see it's up and running. Yeah, that's fine. It works. And now just double check whatever is definitely to showcase that yes, it's the new region. It's running in SDSF. So we had first one GE created, and now another one was Kix D61GG. So yeah, so two Kix regions are created and they're up and running. And yeah, so this is a simple way that user could use open source tools and create fully functional end-to-end automation in a couple of days. It's not a rocket science. Definitely could you use it and develop pretty fast, and it's very convenient to do so. And it just showcase a simple demo for 2 minutes, and let's say you don't want to UI. You need something even fancier, even cooler. So here you can, when you have your playbook function and ready, you're happy with the result that is produced, you can integrate it in your Slack. I did it because the way we use it in the company for our communications. So I just decided, let's create a Slack chatbot. I'll say that infused with AI. So yeah, you give it commands, it responds you, and I just here and asking, can you give me the Kix region names? Oh, it's actually those the Kix regions that are not running right now. Yeah, he executes the Ansible automation, provides me an output. I was asking him, can you give me the Kix region names of active Kix? Yep, it's those two Kix regions that are currently active on that system. And also I can ask him with UI, please create me a new Kix region. The chatbot understands that what kind of action you need to take and creates the Kix region for you. And you need to provide again, as in the UI and in the command line interface, we did provide the region name, the port number, in order to be fully configured. It takes some time. That video did speed up it. So it's again those 2 for 3 minutes. And yeah, the new region is there, it's created, it's up and running. You can connect it and it's fully configured for you to work. That's fine. Again, the other playbooks that I did create, it's for deprovisioning the environment, just a Slack, entering the command, delete environment for me, and chatbot understands your request, and he deletes that. And this is pretty much it. So, going back to the presentation. The key takeaways from all of the talk and for all the demos. We're looking into the first part, the UI stuff. So I did it with some of our UI. It could be done with any other UI of your choice. For me, I did it because of Dockerized image. It's good, but for some configuration, we'll prefer standalone installation. And the most important thing that I want to stress out, that this is the good example showcase how open source tools with an experienced user can build comprehensive end-to-end solution. And a solution that automate the daily activities just a matter of few days. You don't need to spend a lot of weeks and months in developing the solution. A couple of days, in my case 3 days, you have a working solution. The accessibility of online resources and support of the things like generative AI could make your troubleshooting and problem solving way more faster and easier. Definitely you need to validate what kind of UI is providing with answer to you, but still, it's definitely speed up all the development, all the troubleshooting. And open source tools also lower the barrier to the mainframe technology for new generation of programmers, making it easier than ever to enter and innovate in this field. Because this is all the new stuff, this is what now current generation is working on. They're teaching you that in the classes, they're looking to YouTube videos, to taking the Udemy classes, Coursera classes, and so on. They're not taking that specific mainframe stuff. And when they know that, they have that background, they could easily apply all the skills and knowledge of the new technologies, open source technologies that apply to the mainframe. And for business-wise, it's beneficial because speed up all development, speed up innovation, and you can easily attract the talents because you could now say that, hey, you don't work on the mainframe. Why? You can do the same thing. It's not the dinosaur, it's not the legacy technology. It's not the 60 years old of technology, but it's a mature technology. It's keep innovating, keep evolving with the current technology trends. So this is one of the most important things that I want to stress out in this presentation. It's not about how you did it, what the problems you have doing that. Is that showing you that it's possible. It's great tool, it's still actually in active development, so will be some problems that you run into, but they all being solved in a very fast manner. and it's extremely beneficial to you and for any other companies. So, with saying that, my time is run out. Do you have any questions? Yeah, go ahead. I see a lot of hands raised, but you go first.
So I saw that UI, it's really good, I think. Is there any options to import existing stuff? Because I saw you have to create inventory once again.
Yeah.
So if I already have inventory with folder set up, importing, maybe does it have any kind of import?
No, import, no, I don't find that there is import on that button, but I need to just specify it by hand because that configuration it's in the end written into MySQL DB, that UI, so it knows what kind of the configuration it is on the system, what kind of access are granted for which users, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But it has webhooks, so it you can use the webhooks to integrate with Slack, Teams channels, and so on. So also
you integrated that Slack with UI?
I integrated that Slack with the Flask server.
So you just run command?
Yeah, from the Flask. But you can integrate with the I decided to do something different, and we do. Actually, not only me that was done, but by my colleague as well. So, yeah,
okay.
one of the project. Yep. So, I hope you learned something new today, and hope that was useful. Please like, share, and subscribe. Yeah. Donate on the Patreon page and so on. And my session was NP. So please leave a feedback. That will be very great to know how I did it. And please don't send the comments about my voice. So okay, thank you guys.